is that you're being contacted, Ms. Hashin, when there's a need for money.
Yes, sir.
Why aren't you contacting someone else that you can dictate what they say and how they feel? Why contact her?
Your Honor, we consider Sarah a part of our family, and
You
when
can't have it both ways. In my courtroom, it's about equity and fairness. You want him to pay $628?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, knock my socks off. Justice should be more than just some foreign concept. I actually want you to learn something. The law talks about something may in fact be true, but can they prove it? And that's what's tough.
Fair, firm, compassionate. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. Sarah Hashin claims she agreed to help her deceased brother's family financially and says his widow is ignoring her concerns about the kids. Ms. Hashin is suing Julie Marlowe in the amount of $1,500.
All rise. Remain standing and come to order. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Kevin Ross presiding.
Ladies and gentlemen, you may be seated.
All parties been sworn, Your Honor.
Clerk to Deputy Thomas. Ms. Hashin, this case concerns me with you and Miss Marlowe. Let's talk about what's going on here.
About a year ago, my brother was killed.
Yes, I'm sorry to hear that.
Thank you. But prior to that, we had an agreement that I would be providing for his children, his 3 children.
And Miss Marlowe, are you the mother of the children?
Yes, I am.
How old?
They're 4, 8, and 10.
From what I recall, it was your brother, but he wasn't actually your biological brother, right?
No, my grandmother raised both of us, but he was her foster child.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
so he was
we
your
were raised
foster
as
brother,
siblings.
but you
Yeah.
treated him like a brother.
Exactly.
All right. Were you married to the deceased?
Yes, I was, Your Honor.
How long were the two of you married?
It was for about 8 years.
And there was an issue about money.
So about 4 months ago, the child's safety kind of came under argument. There's been a man hanging around the residence who is an ex-drug user.
And his name?
Craig.
Craig. Do you know this Craig person, Miss Marlowe?
Yes, Craig has been an old friend of mine.
Okay.
Even my ex-husband, or her foster brother, has known Craig, and right now we're dating.
I don't know Craig at all,
All right.
sir.
And what is your concern about Craig with respect to the 4, 8, and 10-year-old?
He's shown a lot of erratic behavior. He's
Such
shown
as?
aggression, just mood swings, I would say. And this is just from me being around the kids and seeing it. The reason we had this whole fight in the first place was because I walked in, I was going to take the kids skating, and he was smoking in the living room, closed windows. The smallest girl has asthma, so that was a real concern for me.
Miss Marlowe, does your youngest daughter have asthma?
Yes, she does.
Does Craig smoke?
Once in a while, yes.
Are you aware of how cigarette smoke causes more harm to someone who has asthma?
Yes, but then Craig and I had a serious discussion about that after, and he did admit that it was irresponsible of him.
So there was a conversation on this one occasion.
Yes, sir. We had, I would say, an argument over it. She thought that really wasn't any of my business, and that Craig was
Well,
a good
hold on.
person.
You're co-signing on that. You're saying it's none of her business.
No, it's not,
Okay.
Your Honor. I think she's over-exaggerating
If I'm
the
providing
situation.
for your children and I'm their aunt, it is my business.
Well, just because you're the aunt, it doesn't necessarily mean it's your business if these are her children, should she choose not for you to have a relationship with them. Have you made the decision that the children should have a relationship with Ms. Hashin?
They do have a relationship. They consider Sarah their aunt.
Okay, and that's a relationship, I take it, that you have encouraged and supported.
Yes, but at the end of the day, I am their legal guardian, so...
Well, you're their mother.
Exactly, so
Right.
I will be deciding what's best for my kids.
Sir, I had already had an
Well, here's
agreement
the
with
issue
my
that
brother.
I know we're dancing around it right now.
Yeah.
You're getting financial assistance from Ms. Hashin.
Yes,
Does that financial assistance contribute to the health and safety and well-being of the 3 children?
absolutely, yes.
Okay. It's very difficult to tell somebody, help me with these kids, but stay out of my business.
Well, if you let me explain, Your Honor, there's been a long history of Sarah helping us financially.
Okay.
This is actually a gift, and I have always...
We're going to spend some time talking about the gift, but my issue is whether it's a gift or a loan, she's making the choice to give you compensation to help raising your kids, and you're taking that money.
So-
if you don't want someone to have input on how you raise your children, don't ask them for money, because as soon as you start saying, give me money, then you're opening the door to have that person give you their feedback and their perspective.
Your Honor, I believe that Sarah's taking advantage of the situation, and
let's assume she is. Stop asking for money. My sense is that you're being contacted, Ms. Hashin, when there's a need for money.
Yes, sir.
Why aren't you contacting someone else that you can dictate what they say and how they feel? Why contact her?
Your Honor, we consider Sarah a part of our family, and
you
when
can't have it both ways.
Coming up on America's Court.
It's not about the money.
Then why are we here?
It's about the kids.
Because if it's not about the money, and you're saying, Judge Ross, give me $1,500, it's about the money.
And later,
what were some of the other people charging?
More like $5,000. Probably should have went with that. The week after the installation, the AC came on in the middle of the night, and the next morning I woke up freezing cold and sick.
He was supposed to receive money for what purpose?
Not legally, sir.
Actually, it was their grandma. She had passed away.
There was, I take it, some sort of inheritance.
There was, because there wasn't a will, though, it went to her closest blood relative only.
And that would have been you?
Yes, and I offered a small amount,
Did he die before receiving that money?
Well, my ex-husband, or her foster brother, his name's David, he did not have an account set up at the time.
What do you mean he didn't have an account to take money?
Well, he was going through some changes, Your Honor. He was...
He was in a lot of trouble with the law.
When he dies, how long ago was that?
A year ago, almost.
But what was the understanding that you had entered into with David when he was alive, that you were going to give him how much money?
Like she said, I was going to give a portion of my grandmother's...
Had you said, I'm going to give you this?
Yes, that was an agreement I had.
That amount was?
There was no set amount. It was just that I would help provide for his children, since I couldn't give him that same amount.
There was definitely a set amount. It was somewhere between $5,000 and $10,000, but...
Were you present with Ms. Hashin when she said, I'm going to give him somewhere between $5,000 and $10,000?
No, not at that time.
You're getting this secondhand from David.
Well, of course I'm going to believe him.
Did you ever ask Ms. Hashin, are you going to still give us the $5,000 to $10,000?
She had mentioned the amount of $5,000 over the phone once.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you recall a conversation about $5,000?
No, sir. I would never put a limit on the amount I'm going to take care of my...
You probably aren't going to give the entire inheritance. So there's some sort of cap on how much you would be willing to give him.
$5,000 is such a small percentage of what she's actually, gotten.
She got a substantially higher amount than $5,000.
Oh, yeah. She's gotten property from her grandma.
Is that true? There was also property in the inheritance?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How much have you loaned her over the course of time?
I have the receipt right here.
Give me that. But what would be the total amount?
Thank you, sir. About $5,000 this year alone.
All right. You're saying that somewhere around $5,000 you've given her...
This year alone is $5,000.
Why is it all of a sudden you want the $1,500 when you're still within the statute of limitations, whereas you can actually ask for this total amount?
It's not about the money.
Then why are we here?
It's about the kids.
Because if it's not about the money, and you're saying, Judge Ross, give me $1,500, it's about the money.
Well, if this was really about the kids, Sarah, then you would not be asking for any money back, because all the money goes for the kids. It went for their winter coats.
When we discussed, months before she even asked for that $1,500, we discussed that I would no longer be...
You gave her $1,000 on one occasion.
Sure, yeah.
Did you ask for that money back?
No, sir.
The next occasion you asked for $1,000. Did you ask for that money back?
No, sir.
Those two were gifts.
Sure.
Then you gave her another $250. Was that a gift, or did you see that as a loan?
No.
And then another $750. What was that?
Just for school supplies, I believe, but...
School supplies and things for the kids?
Yeah.
And then another time it was $500.
Yes.
Is that a gift or a loan?
It was a gift as well.
Okay. Every time you gave her money, you, based on your own testimony and representation, is saying it was a gift.
Yes, sir.
If you keep giving monies to someone, did she ever ask for that money back?
She might have, like, in an argument, but given the long history that she's,
I'm not talking about the $1,500. I'm saying the other amounts. Did she ever say, hey, now you're going to give me this money back, right? She never did that.
She might have, Your Honor. I keep offering to pay it back, and she says, don't worry about it. And it's in the text right here.
Let me see that. She offers to pay you back the previous monies, and you tell her don't worry about it? Because that's what she wrote in her complaint.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Seriously, no worries at all. Get that bill paid and let me know if you need anything else. Much love.
That was before the safety issue.
Because if it's a loan, then we don't have a problem. If it's a gift, we don't have a problem. What's complicated and confusing is you're sending her mixed messages. Oh, it's a gift. Oh, don't worry about it. Oh, it's a loan. Pay me back. No worries.
Yes, sir.
What are you trying to accomplish here?
So I want input into who the children are around.
You're not getting it.
I want accountability for
You're not getting
getting them.
You're not getting it. Because that's why you're here, because you're saying you're not getting it. You're not going to have input. You're not going to have accountability. It's family. Are you going to still give them money?
Yeah.
Give the money lovingly and let it go. Based on the evidence and the testimony before this court, the gavel is going to come down in favor of the defendant. Because I would be confused as to, am I paying? Am I not paying? And if she's confused and I'm confused, I don't know if Deputy Thomas is confused or not, but in this case...
I've been confused from the start.
Yeah, right. You can't sustain your burden. Your matter's dismissed. Case closed.
All rise.
Judge Ross has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's claim has been dismissed.
I will think about my future with Craig, and I just want Sarah to know that I'm a good mom and I love my kids.
I don't want my nieces and nephews in harm's way, and I really hope that she thinks hard about her relationship with Craig.
Coming up on America's Court with Judge Ross.
The week after the installation, the AC came on in the middle of the night, and the next morning I woke up freezing cold and sick, and then like a week after that, the lights started flickering out of nowhere.
Scott Nunez claims he hired the defendant to install a smart system in his home and says it had technical issues from the get-go. Mr. Nunez is suing Russell Thompson in the amount of $1,500.
Mr. Nunez, prove your case, sir.
I recently got a new home. I already put a new driveway in. I planted some plants. So I decided to install a smart system.
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
I got a hold of Mr. Thompson here.
And why did you choose Mr. Thompson to do your...
Well, because he was the more affordable one.
All facts, huh? Okay. So, Mr. Thompson, you tend to undercut other people, and is that how you're able to get clients, because you are able to do things at a cheaper rate?
Yeah. I also have other things going on. I do construction.
And what exactly are we talking about, sir?
We do automatic blinds. We do outlet lighting. We do automatic AC units.
Those were the things that Mr. Nunez asked for?
Yes.
Just those three?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Is that true?
Yes.
All right. And for that, you were looking at a cost of how much, sir?
$2,900 compared to
What were some
others.
of the other people charging?
The other ones were charging more like $5,000.
Ah. Yeah. Okay.
And as it turns out, I probably should have went with that.
Because?
Because apparently Mr. Thompson here didn't do a good job, because like a week after the installation, the AC came on in the middle of the night, you know, and the next morning I woke up freezing cold and sick, you know, and then like a week after that, the lights started flickering out of nowhere. Kind of like like it was haunted or something. You know?
Coming up on America's Court.
The guy that I hired to fix his mistakes, he gave me more of a tutorial while he was doing an installation, as opposed to him, he did it after he was done.
Well, if this is just a question of the tutorial, I don't know if that bodes well for your argument that he is somehow negligent.
Well, that's why I got my witness and I got proof.
Closed captioning provided by... America's Court is back with the case of Scott Nunez, who is suing Russell Thompson for $1,500.
He told you about the AC coming in the middle of the night.
He did.
And the lights flickering outside.
Yes, Your Honor.
And when he told you these things, what was your response?
Well, originally the reason why this was happening was because when I went over the tutorial on how to use the applications, he wasn't following. He was on his phone. He wasn't really paying attention. And when I asked if he understood, he said yes. He said.
You recall there being some sort of tutorial that Mr. Thompson
Your Honor,
sat down with you? And
he came and he did the installation. It took him 2 weeks. He didn't explain nothing to me until after he was done.
Is 2 weeks unreasonable?
No, that's reasonable, but he didn't explain anything to me while he was doing it.
Was there a tutorial that he tried
At the end, he he tried to explain stuff to me. And yeah, I was texting because, I mean, I have a business to run also, you know.
Okay.
And the reason I say that he waited till the end is because the guy that I hired to fix his mistakes, he gave me more of a tutorial while he was doing an installation, as opposed to him, he did it after he was done.
Well, if this is just a question of the tutorial, I don't know if that bodes well for your argument that he is somehow negligent.
Well, that's why I got my witness and I got proof.
So is that this person right here?
Yes, Your Honor.
Sir, coming up. Your last name?
Gaskins, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Gaskins, what do you bring to the party?
So I'm here, I was brought in basically to help with the installations and...
Now, this was after the fact?
Yes.
Because the items were already installed.
Correct. So I had to come in and rewire everything.
Why did you have to?
For convenience sake, for Mr. Nunez.
You're saying part of what you had to do was to rewire some things?
Yes, and also I had to take some apps down. For example, there was a security app that was taking up maybe like there was 2 features. I made that one. There was a home lights fixture that had 2 features, and I also made one, and that seemed to be more convenient for Mr. Nunez and his family.
What did you ascertain was the issue with the AC and the lights flickering?
Well, I think the biggest issue was Mr. Nunez just didn't know what to do in case something went wrong. That was the problem. He couldn't troubleshoot things when they were incorrect.
Judge Ross's verdict when America's Court returns.
The adjustments that you made didn't necessarily need to be done had he had a better understanding of how to troubleshoot.
That's correct.
Because based on the evidence and the testimony before this court, the gavel has to come down in favor of the defendant. Because he said, had you just taken the time to understand and be open to the explanation, I could have resolved it for you. For you to just go, it's 2 weeks, I can't deal with this, I'll go get my boy and he'll hook me up, and now you don't have a leg to stand on with that, sir. Your matter's dismissed. Case closed.
Judge Ross has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's claim has been dismissed.
I know I installed Mr. Nunez's smart system correctly. If he needs any help in the future, I'm here for him.
My bad. I probably should have paid more attention to the tutorial, then I wouldn't have to be here in court today.
Follow America's Court on Facebook and Twitter.